There is a pattern that happens in many women's lives, and it is subtle enough that it often goes unnoticed until the effects are already deeply established. This is when a woman slowly stops trusting herself. This does not happen because she lacks intelligence or ability. In fact, many women who experience this are highly capable. They manage responsibilities, they navigate complex situations, and they often support others effectively. Yet, when it comes to their own decisions, there is hesitation. That hesitation has a root. It usually begins with a gradual shift from internal guidance to external influence. Most women begin with a clear sense of what feels right and what does not. That internal awareness is present early. However, over time, external inputs begin to shape behavior. Things like cultural expectations, relational dynamics, and professional environments. These can all reinforce the ideal that being agreeable is more valuable than being certain. And as a result, a subtle change begins to occur. Instead of asking herself, "What do I think about this?" the question becomes, "What is the right thing to do according to others?" And that shift may seem small, but it changes the entire decision making process. Once external validation becomes the primary reference point, internal clarity begins to weaken. And a woman may begin to question once reliable instincts. She may delay decisions while seeking reassurance. She may explain her reasoning more than necessary, even when she already understands her position. And over time, this creates a pattern of second guessing herself. It is important to understand that this pattern is not a reflection of reduced capability. It is a learned behavior, and it develops through repeated moments where a woman chooses to override her own judgment in favor of maintaining harmony, or meeting the expectations of others, or even avoiding conflict. Those moments accumulate, and eventually the cost becomes noticeable. Decision making becomes slower. Confidence appears inconsistent. Opportunities may be delayed or missed, not due to lack of ability, but due to hesitation. At this point, many women assume the solution is to build up her self confidence. However, confidence is not the starting point. The real issue is self trust. Because without self trust, confidence cannot be sustained. It may appear temporarily, but it will not hold under pressure. Self trust is what allows a woman to act decisively, even in uncertain situations. And rebuilding that trust begins with awareness. It requires recognizing where you are overriding yourself, where you already know what needs to be done, but you are delaying action, where something feels misaligned, but you are attempting to rationalize it instead of addressing it. These moments are the turning points. Each one presents a choice, either to follow your internal clarity or to override it. And over time, those choices shape your relationship with yourself. And a woman who consistently honors her internal guidance strengthens self trust. A woman who repeatedly overrides it weakens that trust. The process is cumulative. This means the solution is also cumulative. And rebuilding self trust does not require a complete overhaul. It requires consistent, smaller shifts. It begins with noticing, then choosing differently in those moments. Because the ability to trust yourself is not something you are born with or without. It is something you build. And it is something you can rebuild. So if you're ready to start the process, click the link in the description.